In a quiet suburban neighborhood where tree-lined streets met neatly manicured lawns and friendly faces were a daily fixture. Life moved in a gentle, predictable rhythm. Families strolled along sidewalks bathed in warm sunlight. Children played in front yards. And a comforting sense of community pervaded every corner of the area. Among the residents was the Turner family, whose modest home stood on a peaceful street where neighbors exchanged smiles and casual greetings. For the Turners, every day was filled with small joys, a morning cup of coffee on the porch, laughter echoing during family meals, and the simple pleasure of watching their young daughter, Sophie, explore her world with wide-eyed wonder. Sophie, barely 2 years old and full of innocent curiosity, had just taken her first confident steps. Her little feet padded eagerly along familiar paths, and her sparkling eyes absorbed the beauty around her. Yet, as with all toddlers, her natural inquisitiveness sometimes led her to explore beyond safe boundaries. The Turner family took great care in supervising her, ensuring that she never strayed too far. However, despite their vigilance, life is unpredictable, and even in the safest of neighborhoods, danger can lurk in the most unexpected places. Accompanying the family on these daily adventures was a magnificent Pitbull named Titan. Titan was a striking dog. His strong, muscular build and glossy, brindle coat were softened by eyes that shone with a gentle intelligence and compassion. Although he had never undergone formal training as a service or medical alert dog, Titan had developed over the years an instinctual ability to sense when something was amiss. He had become much more than a pet to the Turners. He was their protector, their steadfast friend whose presence filled their home with a sense of security and unconditional love. On one fateful afternoon that began like any other, the Turners set out for a leisurely walk through their neighborhood. The day was bright and inviting, with the golden glow of early summer sunlight illuminating the streets and casting playful shadows on the pavement. Sophie, with her tiny hands outstretched and her laughter mingling with the rustling of leaves, was happily toddling near the front gate of their home. Titan trotted alongside, ever watchful, his tail occasionally wagging in quiet contentment as he kept pace with his young charge. The familiar route, winding along the quiet street and past well-tended gardens, had always been a source of joy for the family. A time when they could revel in the simplicity of nature and the unspoken bond between them. Unbeknownst to the family, however, the bright day held an unforeseen danger. As Sophie toddled toward the open gate, a momentary lapse in attention occurred. Her parents, absorbed in cheerful conversation and the beauty of the day, had not noticed that the toddler had stepped too close to the edge of the yard, a boundary that led directly to a busy street, teeming with vehicles and bustling activity. The street was a stark contrast to the serenity of their home. It was noisy, crowded, and dangerous, particularly for a small child who had yet to fully grasp the hazards of the world around her. At first, Titan continued his quiet patrol, his instincts gently attuned to the familiar sounds and sense of home. But as the seconds passed, the Pitbull's attention shifted. Somewhere in the periphery of his vision, he noticed a subtle, alarming movement, a flash of a tiny figure, so innocent and unaware, heading straight toward the danger of the busy street. In that split second, everything seemed to slow down for Titan. His ears pricked up, his eyes locked on the moving toddler, and his powerful body tensed with determination. Without a moment's hesitation, Titan sprang into action. With a burst of speed that belied his size, he charged toward the edge of the yard. His powerful legs propelled him forward, and his barks, low at first and growing in intensity, resonated with a clarity that demanded attention. The sound cut through the hum of the afternoon and reached the ears of nearby neighbors as well as Sophie's parents, who at that instant realized something was terribly wrong. Titan positioned himself as a living barrier between Sophie and the dangerous street beyond, his body an imposing shield against the peril that awaited. The scene that unfolded was both heart-stopping and extraordinary in its simplicity. As Sophie, still in her toddler wonder, stepped closer to the gate, Titan's determined stance forced her to pause. His barks, now loud and insistent, reverberated off the houses, a clear and urgent warning that could not be ignored. In that tense moment, time itself appeared to stretch, as if the world was holding its breath in anticipation of what might come next. The air, once filled with the carefree laughter of a child, was now charged with a palpable sense of urgency and protective instinct. Within moments, Sophie's parents rushed from their side of the yard, their hearts pounding with fear and adrenaline. They called out to her, their voices trembling with both relief and concern. "Sophie, come here," they cried, reaching out with arms full of love and worry. The sight of her parents' anxious faces stirred Sophie from her confused state, and she began to cry softly. It was a cry not of pain, but of sudden realization, a moment when the warmth of family and the protective presence of their loyal dog converged to create a shield against impending danger. As the family gathered around the open gate, hearts racing, Titan maintained his steadfast position. His eyes, burning with both resolve and care, never wavered from the threshold where the busy street beckoned. The sounds of passing cars, honking horns, and distant shouts filled the background, but none of that mattered in the midst of the small, intense drama unfolding in the family's yard. Titan's role was clear. He was the guardian of the innocent, the protector of a life not yet aware of the dangers that the world could hold. In the ensuing minutes, the incident became a rallying cry for community safety. Neighbors who had witnessed Titan's intervention from their own front porches began to speak in hushed, odd tones about the loyalty and vigilance of the dog. "I've never seen anything like it," one neighbor later recalled during a community meeting. "That dog didn't let her wander off into harm's way. It was as if he knew exactly what was at stake." Their testimonies painted a vivid picture of a Pitbull whose actions transcended the ordinary, offering a glimpse into the profound connection between an animal and its family, a connection that, in moments of crisis, could mean the difference between life and death. In the days that followed, the story of that dramatic afternoon spread throughout the neighborhood and even reached local news outlets. The narrative was not just about a dog preventing a potential tragedy. It was a celebration of the innate protective instincts that can exist in even the most untrained animals when love and loyalty are at the core of their being. Interviews with Sophie's parents recounted the event with emotion and gratitude. Her father, his voice thick with admiration, stated, "It was like our dog became a living, breathing alarm system, a guardian who wouldn't let our little one slip away into danger." Her mother added, "Seeing Titan stand there, barking and keeping her safe, filled us with an indescribable sense of relief. It's moments like these that remind you how precious life is and how deeply we must cherish every second." Medical experts and animal behaviorists also weighed in on the phenomenon, explaining that while formal training can enhance a dog's natural abilities, sometimes it is the untrained, instinctive behavior, sparked by a deep emotional bond, that makes all the difference. Dr. Lisa Monroe, a respected veterinarian and expert in canine behavior, explained during an interview with a local television station, "Dogs, especially those that have been a part of a loving family for years, develop a sensitivity to the nuances of human behavior." Titan's actions are a prime example of how natural instincts, honed by years of companionship, can serve as an early warning system in moments of danger. Her insights not only validated the experiences of the Turner family but also sparked discussions about the potential for untrained animals to play an important role in home safety. As the incident became part of local lore, community meetings were held to discuss how to better protect children in neighborhoods where traffic and potential hazards loomed large. Parents exchanged practical advice, tips on gate safety, supervision strategies, and even recommendations on pet training, to ensure that no child would ever be left vulnerable. At one such meeting, a local parent recounted how Titan's vigilant behavior had prompted her to install additional safety measures at her own home. "We all learned that day that our pets are more than just companions. They're part of our family's safety net," she said, her voice imbued with a mix of caution and hope. The impact of Titan's heroic act rippled through social media, with hashtags like #StreetGuardian and #PitbullProtector trending in local online communities. Videos captured by neighbors and family members, showing the intense moment when Titan intervened at the gate, spread quickly, evoking widespread admiration and sparking conversations about child safety. People from near and far began to share their own stories of how their pets had alerted them to danger, creating a virtual tapestry of testimonials that celebrated the extraordinary bond between humans and animals. In academic and research circles, the incident was cited as a compelling case study on animal-assisted safety and the untrained yet remarkable instincts of family pets. University researchers conducted preliminary studies on how dogs could detect subtle cues in their environment and in human behavior, such as the hesitant, wandering steps of a toddler venturing too close to a busy street. Their findings suggested that a strong bond between a pet and its owner might heighten the animal's responsiveness to potential dangers, ultimately leading to life-saving interventions. This phenomenon, one researcher explained at a local conference, underscores the critical importance of nurturing the natural instincts of our pets and recognizing that sometimes their intuition can outstrip even the most advanced technological warnings. Such scientific perspectives lent additional weight to the Turner family's story, affirming that what Titan did was not merely chance but a manifestation of an instinctual, protective bond. As the seasons turned and the incident grew into a cherished memory, the Turner family continued to honor Titan's role in their lives. They organized an annual neighborhood safety fair where local experts, emergency responders, and pet trainers came together to share tips on child safety, home security, and the vital role of pets in our lives. At these events, the story of that dramatic afternoon was recounted with reverence, and Titan was celebrated as a living symbol of the protective spirit that can exist in even the most unassuming animals. Children participated in art projects and safety drills, learning firsthand the importance of vigilance and the power of community, a legacy that extended far beyond that one life-changing moment. Over time, the memory of that fateful afternoon began to influence local policies as well. City officials, spurred by the collective outcry and the undeniable impact of Titan's actions, initiated discussions on improving safety measures in neighborhoods with heavy traffic and busy streets. Proposals were made to install more robust fencing, improve gate security, and implement public awareness campaigns that emphasized the importance of supervising young children around potential hazards. The message was clear. Every member of the community, from the smallest toddler to the most loyal dog, had a role to play in ensuring safety and protecting lives. In reflective interviews with local media, members of the Turner family expressed their deep gratitude for the day's events. "I'll never forget the moment when Titan barked so fiercely at the gate, ensuring that our little Sophie was safe," her mother recalled, her voice trembling with both emotion and pride. Her father added, "That day, our dog wasn't just a pet, he was a guardian, a hero. His actions taught us the importance of being alert, of trusting in the quiet wisdom of those who love us unconditionally." Their words resonated with many, reinforcing a collective belief that true heroism often comes in the form of silent guardians with 4 legs and hearts full of love. As the narrative of that day continued to spread, it inspired not only community action but also a broader cultural shift in the way people viewed pit bulls. Once burdened by negative stereotypes and misconceptions, the breed began to be recognized for its capacity for compassion, intelligence, and protective instinct. Local animal shelters reported an increase in inquiries about adopting pit bulls, as families realized that these dogs, when nurtured in a loving environment, could become extraordinary protectors. Advocates and pet trainers used the Turner family's story to illustrate that every dog, regardless of breed, possessed the potential to be a hero when given the chance. Titan's bravery has changed the way we see these dogs. One shelter volunteer remarked during an adoption event, "It's not about the breed, it's about the bond, the love, and the natural instinct to protect that every loyal pet can offer." In academic circles, the story of Titan's intervention was further examined as part of research into the social and emotional impacts of human-animal bonds. Researchers discovered that children who grew up with pets that demonstrated protective behavior often developed a greater sense of security and empathy. These studies, while still in their early stages, hinted at the potential for animals to play a crucial role in shaping the social fabric of communities, a role that went far beyond the traditional boundaries of companionship. As the years passed and the memory of that dramatic afternoon became woven into the community's lore, the Turner family continued to celebrate the legacy of Titan. Annually, on the anniversary of the incident, the family held a small gathering in their front yard, inviting neighbors to share their own stories of safety, love, and the quiet heroism that exists in everyday life. These celebrations, marked by a mix of laughter, tears, and heartfelt speeches, served as a reminder that every moment of vigilance, every bark of warning, had the power to change lives. We are all guardians in our own way. One neighbor remarked during a recent gathering. Titan showed us that true heroism is not always loud. It's often found in the quiet moments when love and care unite to protect those we cherish. In reflective interviews with local media, community leaders spoke of how that day had transformed not only a family's life but the entire neighborhood's approach to safety and community care. It was a wake-up call. One city official stated that a simple act of a loyal dog could prevent a potential tragedy reminded us all that we must look out for one another. It's a lesson in vigilance, love, and the profound impact that trust and compassion can have on our daily lives. His words resonated deeply with residents, cementing the incident as a milestone in the community's collective journey toward greater awareness and mutual support. The story of Titan's protective intervention continues to inspire and educate, transcending its immediate context to become a universal tale of love, loyalty, and the enduring power of the human-animal bond. It reminds us that in the quiet moments, when our attention may waver and danger seems just a step away, there is always a guardian ready to stand watch, a guardian who's silent. Steadfast devotion can transform fear into hope and ensure that even the smallest among us are never left unprotected. In the days immediately following that fateful afternoon, when the neighborhood's collective breath seemed to have held its own in anticipation of what might have been, a quiet transformation took root in the hearts and minds of everyone involved. The incident, though brief in its unfolding, left an indelible mark on the Turner family, their neighbors, and the broader community, a living reminder of how instinct, loyalty, and love can converge to avert disaster and create lasting change. After the toddler was safely ushered back to her family by the swift intervention of their loyal guardian, the Turner household slowly began to process the emotions of relief, gratitude, and introspection. Sophie's tearful yet grateful eyes spoke volumes to her parents, who embraced her with renewed determination to ensure her safety in a world that could be both wondrous and perilous. Her parents, once only mildly vigilant, found themselves now on heightened alert, double-checking gate locks, installing additional safety measures around the yard, and even attending local workshops on child safety and neighborhood security. The incident had become more than a near miss. It was a catalyst for a new era of mindfulness within their family. Meanwhile, Titan, the heroic Pitbull whose powerful presence had halted Sophie's inadvertent venture toward danger, was gradually elevated from a beloved pet to a community symbol. Neighbors began to recount the extraordinary scene with a mix of awe and inspiration. At neighborhood gatherings, residents spoke of Titan's alert bark and the unwavering determination in his eyes that had forced the toddler to pause, allowing her parents to react in time. "I've never seen a dog so committed," one neighbor recalled during a community safety meeting, his voice filled with admiration. That dog wasn't just a pet, he was a guardian, a true sentinel who stood between a child and potential harm. His words, echoing through the small meeting room, resonated with everyone present, forging a deeper sense of communal responsibility. Local news outlets picked up on the story quickly. Television segments and newspaper articles featured heartfelt interviews with Sophie's parents, whose recollections were both poignant and reflective. In one interview, Mr. Turner explained with measured emotion, "We were blessed that day. Titan's instinct saved our daughter from what could have been a tragic accident." His alertness reminded us all that in the blink of an eye, circumstances can change, and that sometimes our greatest protectors come on four legs. His words, broadcast on regional news channels, struck a chord with viewers, and soon the hashtags #StreetSentinel and #PitbullProtector trended across social media platforms as families from near and far shared similar experiences of pet heroism. Community response was swift and heartfelt. A local community center organized a series of safety seminars that focused not only on the importance of child supervision but also on recognizing the subtle cues that a vigilant pet might provide. Experts in child psychology and animal behavior demonstrated how pets can sense shifts in their surroundings and even alert their owners to potential hazards before humans can. These sessions, attended by dozens of residents, sparked lively discussions about integrating pet behavior into broader safety strategies. "A pet's instinct can often be our first line of defense," noted one animal behaviorist during a workshop. "What Titan did was a profound example of natural loyalty and the silent call of protection that many of these wonderful animals offer." without us even realizing it. For the Turner family, the incident became a turning point in how they viewed their relationship with Titan and, more broadly, the human-animal bond. The family began to document the event in a series of journal entries and home videos, capturing the raw emotion of that day and the quiet heroism of their faithful companion. In one video clip recorded on the porch just days after the event, Sophie, now wide-eyed but smiling, was seen hugging Titan tightly, while her parents looked on with tears of gratitude and relief. These personal mementos, later shared with friends and community groups, served as a powerful reminder of that moment when a dog's unwavering loyalty had changed the course of a life. As the months passed, the impact of Titan's actions rippled outward to influence local policy. In a series of town hall meetings that saw unprecedented attendance, community leaders and residents discussed ways to enhance neighborhood safety. Proposals ranged from improved lighting along residential streets and better gate security measures to the creation of a neighborhood watch program that would include training sessions for pet owners on how to harness the natural alertness of their animals. "We have all witnessed the profound difference that one vigilant dog can make," said a local council member during a particularly moving session. "Let Titan's example remind us that safety is a shared responsibility, a commitment that starts at home and extends to every corner of our community." The meeting ended with a round of applause, as neighbors vowed to support these initiatives with the same unity and care that Titan had demonstrated that day. Educational institutions in the area also embraced the story as an inspiring case study in both safety and empathy. Local schools organized art contests and writing competitions, inviting students to express their thoughts on the role of pets in our lives and how small acts of vigilance can prevent great tragedies. The winning entries, many of which depicted heroic dogs standing guard over playful children or comforting the vulnerable, were displayed in school hallways and community centers, reinforcing the notion that everyday heroism often comes from the unlikeliest of places. Moreover, the incident inspired several local nonprofit organizations to launch campaigns promoting responsible pet ownership and the benefits of training dogs to be alert companions. Flyers and posters adorned community bulletin boards, and social media campaigns under hashtags such as #GuardianTitan and #EverydayHero celebrated the extraordinary bond between families and their pets. These initiatives not only raised awareness about child safety but also helped to reshape public perceptions of pit bulls, challenging long-held stereotypes by showcasing their capacity for compassion, intelligence, and protective loyalty. In academic circles, researchers became intrigued by Titan's natural ability to sense danger. Studies were initiated to explore how pets might detect subtle environmental cues that precede accidents. And preliminary findings suggested that the deep bond between a pet and its family could enhance a dog's sensitivity to such signals. These scientific explorations, though still in early stages, promised to reveal fascinating insights into the interplay between human physiology and animal instincts. Conferences and local symposiums featured discussions on how natural alertness could be integrated into emergency response systems, further highlighting the potential for animals to play a vital role in community safety. For the Turner family, life after the incident took on new meaning. Every morning, as the sun rose over their neighborhood, they carried with them a renewed appreciation for the fragility of life and the strength found in unity and vigilance. Family dinners became a time not just for sharing a meal but for sharing gratitude. Stories of Titan's brave intervention were recounted with a mixture of awe, humor, and heartfelt emotion. "We learned that heroes don't always wear capes," Mrs. Turner would say, her eyes twinkling with gratitude. "Sometimes, they have paws and a wagging tail that tells you everything will be okay." Her sentiment, simple yet profound, encapsulated the enduring legacy of that unforgettable day. As the seasons changed and the neighborhood continued to thrive on a foundation of renewed safety and mutual care, the story of Titan, the street sentinel, remained a constant source of inspiration. The once quiet suburban street, now alive with conversations about preparedness and community spirit, stood as a testament to the transformative power of a single act of loyalty. Neighbors looked out for one another with heightened awareness, and every time a dog barked at the edge of a yard or a child paused at a gate, there was a collective, unspoken promise that no one would be allowed to face danger alone. In reflective interviews with local media, Residents spoke passionately about how the incident had changed their lives. That day, we all learned to appreciate the small moments. One neighbor said during a televised interview, "It's the little acts of vigilance that build the strongest communities. Titan's brave actions have brought us together in ways we never imagined." His words, resonant and sincere, echoed through the community, inspiring a shared commitment to safety, preparedness, and above all, compassion. By the time the first hints of winter dusted the neighborhood with frost, the story of Titan's intervention had woven itself into the fabric of local lore, a cherished memory that served as both a cautionary tale and a beacon of hope. The Turner family, now more united than ever, continued to honor Titan's legacy through annual gatherings, community safety events, and a commitment to sharing their story with new families entering the neighborhood. Every year on the anniversary of that dramatic afternoon, the community would gather for a small ceremony, a celebration of life, love, and the quiet heroism that can change the course of a life in an instant. In the final analysis, the legacy of Titan's brave act transcended the confines of that single incident. It became a symbol of what can happen when vigilance meets loyalty, and when a family learns to trust in the natural instincts of their beloved pet. The story of that day serves as a timeless reminder that every sound, every bark, every alert from a devoted guardian is a call to protect what is most precious. And as the Turner family and their neighbors continue to live their lives with an enhanced sense of care and preparedness, they know that the spirit of Titan, an embodiment of love, courage, and resilience, will forever remain a guiding light in their hearts.